Listen, in a world of economic uncertainty, safeguarding your retirement savings is more important than ever. Gold is a trusted store of value, providing stability for centuries through countless market cycles. With a gold IRA from Noble Gold Investments, you can protect your financial future with the enduring power of precious metals. Vote for the timeless safety of gold and silver in 2024 and get up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account. Noble Gold Investments, your partner in financial peace of mind in 2024.
My first nomination is for Oxfordshire County Council, which wants to impose a 15-minute city, which is going to include control zones. It's going to mean you're not going to be able to drive to certain places. They want everyone to walk and cycle. And they've been inspired not just by the lockdowns and restrictions, but actually this is a group internationally called C40 of mayors, which, no surprise, Sadiq Khan is actually the chair of.
Of course he is.
Basically, local authorities and councils are so contemptuous of people and they're so obsessed with this idea of net zero, rather than thinking about how we can have transforming transport networks, better housing, improved infrastructure. They want to limit what we do. They want to restrict it. And then they want to fine and have punitive measures. And it's not just Oxfordshire now, it's others. We've got this situation where the idea that you can not just nudge, but you can restrict people from going about their daily life and contemptuously saying, well, you can walk or get a bike. And I really think it reflects the wrong think of local authorities. Duncan Enright, who's the cabinet minister, actually said, we're going to do it whatever you think. It's going to happen. He did an interview saying it's happening anyway. So the dispense of any idea of democratic accountability, this utter contempt, it's not like it's what everyone wants locally and they're doing it.
It's quite reverse, isn't it?
Recently, we've seen a lot of misinformation about traffic filters circulating online. This misinformation is being spread by many disreputable sources, and it has been extremely disappointing to see it being picked up by the national media outlets as well. These conspiracy theories are causing real-world harm and need to stop. We have been receiving many calls and emails from worried residents in genuine fear that they might be locked in their own homes.
After 3 years of planning, city administration is presenting its vision to accommodate a population of 2 million people through 15-minute cities. 3 days of public hearings on the plan began at City Hall this morning. Shailen Skulski has more.
I'm here to express my concerns.
Shelley Motorshead is one of more than 70 speakers scheduled to be heard at City Hall. Over 3 days, councillors will hear from residents and representatives from the construction industry, childcare, community leagues, and students on administration's plan to deal with a growing population.
We are building a cohesive city with opportunities for local living.
Population is rapidly growing, and we have to be able to accommodate for that. Right now, the plans we have are kind of Frankenstein together over decades.
The 15 new district plans and corresponding bylaws will replace 54 existing planning documents dating back to the 1980s.
I know we have a proclivity in our culture and our society today that we have to rely on expert models before we can make a decision if something's good or bad. So I decided that I would create an expert model to help visualize to people what is a 15-minute city. So come on in, let me show you what a 15-minute community looks like.
Well, I'm excited to see this, Randy, because you always break things down into nice practical ways, right?
Here we go. These residents of the 15-minute community, they're not locked in, but they just stay there. They're free to come and go, but they don't. So let's take a step inside. Everything they need in their life is right here in their 15-minute community. A water bowl, a feed tray. They own nothing, but they are exceptionally happy.
Hey, Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. It's John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is it Thursday? It is Thursday. September 12th, 2024. Sorry, the date's a little difficult sometimes. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. Thank you for joining us on X Rumble and YouTube. Thank you in the live chat. Živijo prijatelji Slovenije, kako ste vsi skupaj? Zdravo, kako ste? Srbija, Hrvatska, Bosna, svi koji ste tu. And thank you everyone else for being here. Buongiorno, benvenuti. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that, friends. Let's dive into it. And by the way, I don't know if Ronnie's here today, our awesome moderator, but everybody else, it's such an honor that you guys show up every single day. And I think we're really making headway together. One of the things that I have been really studying in my life is how problems are actually solved. And I will tell you this. If you don't know what you're dealing with, you have zero chance to make better decisions. A few weeks back, we reported on what is happening in the urban areas in terms of poverty, drug abuse, crime, mental illness, the zombification of people. And we literally said, listen, we recommend that whoever can leave the cities, right? Man, did we get a lot of backlash. And there's one thing that I noticed, and one thing that is incredibly upsetting. People will not fight those who oppress them the most. They will not resist those who enslave them. They will not fight those who lie to them. You know who they fight the most? Those who tell them the truth about all of that. I can't tell you how much aggression and violence we got from people who said, I don't know why you're talking about this. There's nothing I can do about it. And you're just fear-mongering. No. This is the truth, my friends. And I want to bring up a famous quote real quick before we dive into how the world government is already here. This is unbelievable. It's all in plain sight. And unless we truly comprehend what is happening, you and I and all of us collectively can't make better choices, but we have to, and we have to make them quick. Okay, so let's look at the truth here. And this is something you all might know. A quote by Morpheus from The Matrix. The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we're trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand most of these people are not ready to be unplugged, and many of them are so inert and so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it. It is absolutely incredible, that a certain section of our community behaves in exactly this way, when there's only one thing that can set us free, and that is the truth. I have studied for years the agenda at work. We have reported on it a lot, but a picture emerges that is even more clear the more we research this, and that is what is happening with the Agenda 2030, what is happening with urban areas, what is happening with cities, what they're doing in cities. And we have to see a trend that almost all big cities in the Western world, for sure, but also beyond that today, are under the leadership of a neoliberal elite, self-appointed elite, the World Economic Forum elite. These are not straight-thinking people. They all belong to the same club, and they're all over the world. And I'm going to prove it to you that they're already working under world government. What you're about to see and hear probably will pretty much blow your mind. You heard about 15-minute cities. You heard about 20-minute cities. Maybe you haven't heard that much about C40 cities. So let's dive a little bit into what is happening in almost all cities of the world. Now, some people say, well, I haven't heard about it. Listen, it is either being planned, implemented, and they sometimes have different names for this. But it is all under the guise of Agenda 2030, the UN Agenda 2030, and the year 2030 appears everywhere. So I want to look at the transformation of cities with you. 15-minute cities, 20-minute cities, and C40 cities. On the surface, these concepts are wrapped in the sweet language of convenience, sustainability, and community. But peel back the layers, and what you're really looking at is a total control of human movement and behavior. It's a massive step toward the global surveillance state, and it's already happening. They sell you the idea that you won't need to travel more than 15 or 20 minutes from your home to access essential services, shops, healthcare, schools. Everything will be within walking or biking distance. Sounds great, right? But what they're not telling you is that this is the infrastructure of confinement. They'll limit how far you can travel, monitor where you go, and make movement outside your designated zone much harder, if not impossible. It's not about saving the planet. It's about locking you down in digital ghettos. Over time, you'll be funneled into tiny bubbles, only allowed to move with their permission. Here's the thing. Christine and I were recently in a conservative state, Utah. It's a Mormon state, for crying out loud. And we were in Salt Lake City visiting our dear friend Jane Barlow from Barlow Herbal, and we visited her headquarters over there. And right across the street from her headquarters, her company, there was a huge empty lot. Like I'm talking tens of acres, pretty much in the center of Salt Lake. And I said, what are they doing there? She said, that's where they're building a 15-minute city. It's happening everywhere, my friends. Please don't be under the illusion that any city of significant size will be exempt from that. This is the world government in action. C40 cities. What are C40 cities? Now, the C40 cities initiative is the globalist blueprint for how they'll tie it all together. These are cities pushing extreme climate agendas under the guise of saving the earth. The real goal, a global network of cities under central control. They'll use the climate emergency as justification to limit your rights to travel, to own cars, to even eat certain foods. C40 cities are part of the bigger plan to standardize control, where everything you do, every move you make is tracked and restricted for sustainability. But it's all an excuse to consolidate power in the hands of the global elite. So, restricting your right to travel, restricting what you can eat. Isn't this what the Bill Gateses and all of these people are already talking about all the time? We have to put these pieces together. What is a climate emergency? Is a climate emergency a health emergency? Well, guess what? Remember how we warned and how we rang the alarm bell that the WHO is amending their international health regulations, and how we were alarmists, conspiracy theories, all the stuff, even from within our community. Now, they did change and amend the international health regulations. And guess what? It now gives them the sole power to declare any health emergency or the danger of a health emergency and implement a set of rules and directions that the nations have to follow. Guess what? Climate is one of those. So what they can say, Tedros, the head of the WHO, of this unelected bureaucratic shadow state body, can come on and say, listen, we are seeing huge emissions. We're seeing people with respiratory illness because of these emissions. Here's what we're going to do. We're declaring a public health emergency. And now all of a sudden you have these 15-minute city structures already in place and C40 city structures in place. And what are they going to do? They're going to say, you can't leave your zone. You can't use your car. You have to stay within your 15-minute zone. And you go, but I have a sick grandmother. I have people that I need to take care of one city over. I need to do this. No. This is not happening. And people think this is years or decades away. This is here, my friends. This is not years or decades away. All the infrastructure, all the rules and regulations are in place. What they're building brick by brick is nothing short of global technocracy, a digital prison where they control your every action through a web of regulations, technology, and surveillance. And it's all dressed up in this flowery language of community and environmental responsibility But don't be fooled. This is about controlling you, not protecting the planet. It's literally the New World Order, and this is their latest tool to enslave the human race. So here I'll give you what C40, the C40 mayors, that's over 100 cities worldwide. And you'll be surprised what cities, what nations are part of it. Nations that usually fight each other on the world stage, but behind the scenes, they're cooperating, they're coordinating, and they're implementing the enslavement system as set out by their masters. Here's what they're writing on their website. C40 is a global network of nearly 100 mayors of the world's leading cities that are united in action to confront the climate crisis. Mayors of C40 cities are committed to using an inclusive, science-based, and collaborative approach, always the same bullshit language, to cut their fair share of emissions in half by 2030. There we have it, 2030. Help the world limit global heating to 1.5 degrees Celsius and build healthy, equitable, and resilient communities. Doesn't it sound wonderful? The C40 supports mayors to do this by raising climate ambition through 1.5 degrees climate action plan support, high impact accelerators, and fostering innovation. I could throw up and puke by just their dismissive nonsense, say nothing language. Building equitable and thriving communities via global and regional programs. Building a global movement through robust international advocacy and diplomacy. What does that mean? Absolutely nothing. Scaling up climate action and sharing best practices across high impact sectors. Facilitating access to finance for investment in green jobs and projects that improve resilience in cities. You know what this is? They got together and they said, who are our best assistants? Who are the best mayor's assistants in our 100 cities? Let's get them together on a Zoom call. And the goal is to come up with complex and complicated language that says absolutely nothing. That's what they did. And then they put this on their website. They pat themselves on the back. They get their billions of dollars in investment money, and they laugh while they're flying their private jets to Davos to discuss how they can limit your CO2 consumption and emission more. That's literally what they're doing. Fucking assholes. Pardon my French. Okay, here we have it. C40 cities. Here's Africa. This is straight from their website. So when I say a world government is in place, please keep in mind that these over 100 mayors of the C40 cities are working together, collaborating, and are pulling for the exact same team in all places of the world. So here you have all these cities in Africa, and mind you, these are only the ones that are officially on board. There are initiatives to bring many more on board, and behind the scenes, many more cities are collaborating. Then we have these cities here in Central Asia. These are all the Chinese cities. Remember our main adversary, China. We're so at odds with them. And these are our greatest enemies, yet we're collaborating 100%. And of course, these China mayors are absolutely independent of the Chinese Communist Party, and they can make independent decisions. Of course not. You have East, Southeast Asia, and Oceania of New Zealand, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, Republic of Korea, Singapore, Australia, Japan. Here we have the European official cities that are part of it. From Amsterdam to London to Madrid to Milan to Oslo to Paris, Rome, Rotterdam, Stockholm, Tel Aviv. I mean, just saying. This is pretty much all the big cities in Europe, and some are, as I say, some don't belong to the C40, but they are under the guidelines of Agenda 2030, 15 or 20-minute cities. Then we have Latin America, you have Colombia, you have Argentina, Brazil, Mexico. Once again, nations that are often at odds with each other, at odds with America, at odds with Europe, at odds with China, yet they're working together. North America, here you have it. I was just recently in Austin, and I'm sorry to say it for all Austinites, I didn't enjoy a minute of it. I didn't enjoy a minute of being in Austin. That's not true. There was some fantastic barbecue that I enjoyed. So here was lying. No, I enjoyed a few parts of it because we met with some great people and we watched a great movie. So we were there for a movie premiere. I just didn't enjoy the vibe of Austin. Let me put it this way. And if you are a lifelong Austinite, my apologies. I didn't mean to offend you. But you have Boston, Chicago, Houston, LA, some of the cities, by the way, that I wouldn't want to visit if you paid me these days because they're so run down, so horrible. You have New York City, of course, Philadelphia, Phoenix, Portland, San Francisco, Seattle, Toronto, Vancouver, Washington. These are all C40 cities. So all the big cities, all the cities that people love, that they travel the world over to come to visit, are transforming into digital surveillance camps that are being divvied up in districts. You can't leave the district unless you have a permit. You can only leave so often. If you leave more often than that by car, you'll be fined, then you'll be restricted. Of course, your electric car won't let you leave. That's the whole point of it. Let's move forward here. South and West Asia, India, Pakistan. Isn't this interesting? India and Pakistan officially fighting with each other. Here, of course, they're collaborating with each other. Then we go to Saudi Arabia. You might have heard of Neom. Neom is, this will blow your mind. I'll play a video for you guys. But Neom is a futuristic megacity project in Saudi Arabia, part of the country's Vision 2030 initiative. Is the penny dropping yet? 2030, all over the place. Saudi Arabia, China, India, Pakistan, North America, Europe. Everybody is focused at implementing this by 2030, like we have been saying. So this is part of the country's Vision 2030 initiative aimed at diversifying its economy beyond oil. Announced by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in 2017, Neom is located in the northwestern part of the country along the Red Sea coast, spanning 26,500 square kilometers. It is designed to be a hub for advanced technologies, sustainability, and innovation. So here we are. I would love to play this clip for you, about 3.5 minutes or so we can really appreciate what is happening in Saudi Arabia and how it plays into the entire restructuring of the world, of the cities of the world, of the Agenda 2030, and the world government. Let's play this together.
For too long, humanity has existed within dysfunctional and polluted cities that ignore nature. Now, a revolution in civilization is taking place. Imagine a traditional city and consolidating its footprint, designing to protect and enhance nature. The line will be home to 9 million residents and will be built with a footprint of just 34 square kilometers. And we are designing it to provide a healthier, more sustainable quality of life. The line's communities are organized in 3 dimensions. Residents have access to all their daily needs within 5-minute walk neighborhoods. And the line's infrastructure makes it possible to travel end-to-end in 20 minutes with no need for cars, resulting in 0 carbon emissions. By leveraging AI technology, services are autonomous, saving you time and effort. Designed by world-leading architects, the line is 500 meters tall, 200 meters wide, 170 kilometers long, and housed within an elegant mirror glass facade. Intelligent solutions create efficiency and year-round temperate microclimate with natural ventilation. Energy and water supplies are 100% renewable. The line is designed as a series of unique communities, offering a wealth of amenities, providing equitable views and immediate access to the surrounding nature. With 40% of the world accessible within 6 hours, at the heart of the globe's key trade routes, a place for commerce and communities to thrive like nothing on Earth seen before. The Line, the city that delivers new wonders for the world.
Welcome to Magna. 120 kilometers of unspoiled coastline on the beautiful Gulf of Aqaba and Neom, Saudi Arabia. Part of Neom's vision of the future, Magna boasts 12 unique destinations for discerning residents and visitors. Along its majestic coast sit 15 iconic hotels. From Epicon in the north, with its awe-inspiring ultra-luxury hotel, resort, and exclusive residences, to Neom in the south, where rooftop pools meet panoramic azure lagoon views. Home to 3 cosmopolitan communities in Gidori, Jamur, and Norlana, where super yachts, elite sports, and exquisite residences come together around spectacular waterfronts to deliver a lifestyle without compromise. Magna is a place of unrivaled human experiences, with a theater of the future at Utamo, the private members club at Zainor, rewilding and luxury ecotourism at Zardan, and Aquelum, a vast subterranean digital community inside a mountain. Redefining luxury and sustainability while creating magic in one of the most awe-inspiring places on Earth. Magna, the coast of Neom.
Well, that inspires something, but it's not awe. It's puking that inspires. That is the vision of inverted consciousness, ugly, brood, horrible architecture. Does not speak to the spirit, does not speak to human creativity. A vision of, and this is what these structures all show, is being enclosed, being in there, making a high class entertainment theme park that keeps the mind occupied, of course, fully digitalized, fully surveyed. So let's not kid ourselves. This is what they're investing trillions of dollars in, combining it all with AI technology, AI running everything. These cities will have, maybe they'll have mayors. These places maybe will have some sort of human face that will look like it's human, but they are and will be run fully by AI. Make no mistake. Here's the thing, and don't shoot the messenger, friends. I mean, if you want to shoot at me, go ahead. I can dodge the bullets like Neo. But, you know, this is what they're doing. This is where all the money goes. This is where all the attention goes. Please don't kid yourself. All the spiritual bypassing techniques from this is not my reality. I don't consent to this reality, so will not experience it. I live in the center of Seattle, but this won't affect me. Bullshit. It will. It will. This is what will happen in these places, or is happening in these places. That doesn't mean it has to be a part of your life experience, but you have to make choices and you have to take action for your family, for your children, if you have children, for yourself. This is a this is the big split that is happening in all arenas, and where people come together and they create smaller, sustainable, natural, regenerative communities. Guess what? If there's a few thousand of us scattered all over the place, we will be easy to handle. If there's millions of us, that will be much, much harder. And these people will have a lot of work to contain all the anger and fury of the city dwellers. Oxfordshire, which is one of those places in the UK that has loudly and boldly presented this vision and is implementing it, has seen a backlash of 90% of residents. And you know what they said? We don't really give a fuck. This is happening whether you want it or not. People are hoodwinked and they are blinded by these buzzwords of green cities and walkable and bikeable. That's all awesome. Guess what? But you don't need all the other crap to make a city more green and to make a city more walkable. Europe's been having walkable cities since the inception of cities. There's all kinds of pedestrian zones. You can walk from everywhere. They didn't need surveillance. They didn't need digital ID. They didn't need AI merger. They didn't need all these things. This is a trap. City life for freedom-loving people is over. Life as we know it, my friends, is over. And unfortunately, our dear friend, General Holt, who lives in Idaho, And this is happening in Idaho as well. And we spoke last year about all these 15-minute cities, and he got involved with his city council and with their local politics, and he's been involved very, very actively. And he said, here's the thing, John, whether we like it or not, this is happening. And you know why? Because people were asleep at the wheel. They didn't want to listen to anyone. They were so programmed into the entire sphere that they didn't want to see the warning signs. Now it's here. We can't, now it's too late to turn back. Too much has already happened. Too much has been invested in it. Now the question is, can we somehow positively influence it? And some people might try to do that. What I'm saying is, if you love freedom, if you cherish your sovereignty, if you want to be in charge of your own destiny, you will have to find a way to leave these urban areas and to become accustomed to a more in sync lifestyle with nature, with communities. And if that's not you, or you say, well, what can I do? These are my limitations or conditions. Your life, your choices. I mean, there's nothing anyone can do, and there's no savior coming. We have to get off our asses and make better choices. All of us, by the way, we're constantly improving our own choices, and it also means to simplify life. But there is no one coming who's going to save us from this. It's always been us. But we have to be clear about what the problem is, how big it is, how substantial it is, and what it really means. This is the truth. This is the truth. There is an exponential option that would make all this crumble, but that option would require that substantial numbers of people completely stop to cooperate, completely, on all levels. No more cooperation with their own enslavement. And that leads us back to the very first quote by Morpheus. Most people are not ready to do that. Most people actually are still to this day dying to defend this insane system. Listen, it's been out there. Those who wanted to see it were able to see it. There are people who have been making or life choices accordingly for 20, 30, 40 years. They're not worried. Others didn't want to see it, weren't able to see it. I get that. I get that. But now we're here. And there is this principle: control the controllables, do what you can with what you have where you are. Stop worrying about things you currently cannot do. Think about what you currently can do. Think about what you currently can make as a first baby step. We don't get tired of showing the bigger picture, because there's human spirit coming through us every single day. And even though sometimes it seems in vain, but there's human spirit coming through me every single day, and divine guidance. Show it to the people. Remind them of who they really are. Remind them of their divine origins. Remind them that they are not slaves, that they're not small, that their fates are in their own hands, that there is no one coming that will overpower their free will and force them into safety. There is no such thing. But that the divine spark is within them, needs to be ignited, and it needs to be ignited now. Remind them that they have been lied to and deceived into believing that they're little. There's nothing that they can do. Well, you can. And if you need a reminder, then by all means, take a couple hours and watch or read life stories of people who completely changed their lives from very dark, poor, abusive circumstances, growing up, under the worst of conditions, and turning their life around to where it is inspiring, beautiful, abundant, healthy, happy, and all those things. There are so many examples of people who are willing to share their stories and tell you that there are no circumstances which cannot be overcome. That's it. This is here. We don't have a minute to spare. Not a minute to spare. And the first and most important step, you have to overcome, transmute the fear of death, because that is what is paralyzing people. People say, I'm scared of authority. I'm scared what they're going to do to me if I'm not playing along. I'm scared if I don't keep my head down. Listen, what you're really scared of, what most people are really scared of, is the fake programming of death, a thing that doesn't exist. Yes, the end of this body, of this avatar exists, but that's not the end. It's just, that's transformation. Death as such does not exist. As long as you fear it, you will be paralyzed. There's nothing you can do. As long as you believe in the artificial limitations of your circumstances, there's nothing you can do. As long as you believe that your circumstances are so extraordinary and special that, John, if you only knew what my story is, you would see that I truly can't change anything. Guess how often I heard that story? In working with people, you hear that story. Listen, I understand you're a good coach, or I understand that, you know, you've helped a lot of people, but my story, if you only heard my story, you would know there's really not much I can do about my life to change it. Others would need to do it. No, bullshit. I believed that at one point. Guess what? I was just as wrong as everyone else. No, it's us. It's always been us. Man, you know, if I had one wish, is that people could feel that on a deeper level. That there is no one out there who can make that happen for you. I believe I said that a time or two before. It seems to be the most triggering message. So, voting is not going to do it, my friends. I'm sorry. Go vote if that's what you want to do. I'm not telling anybody not to do it, but that's not going to fix the problem. Not at all, actually. You know, somebody wants to build 15-minute cities, others want to build freedom cities. I wonder if there's a huge difference. I wonder if these things are not going to amount to the same at the end of the day. I don't know that, but, you know, interestingly enough, behind the scenes, there's always the same names, same people, same organizations, same money people coming up. So you're the one you've been waiting for. My friends, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being with us. You know, we love you. We appreciate you. We'll be back with you again very, very soon.